on to the final part of Onitsha 360 for today, which is 360 issues. And of course, you know that this is where we get to, tackle some societal issues, major problems. Certain things are going on in the world or in the country as well too. And of course, we try as much as we can to, shine the light on those areas that need the focus on at this point in time. And that is the reason why we are here again today on a beautiful Thursday morning like this. My name is still Raymond Okolo, the biggest of them all, the big man on radio, Raymond Okolo. And I have with me right here in the building, Favor Gilbert for today as well too. She will be joining us as usual.
Happy New Month to each and every one of us. We pray that this month will be better than the previous one, in as much as we started the month with another shade of shaggy. But I believe we are going to survive, and in the midst of it all, we are going to thrive. This is 360 Issues here on 7FM 103.9 on Onitsha. And today is not going to be different. Just listen so that I
must say it's about that time that we get to rub minds together this morning to talk about what concerns us as Nigerians. I am a Nigerian, so it is important that I talk about my country, because if things are not going well, it's good we talk about it and find solution to what is actually happening in the country of ours. So I say welcome all to the program.
Yes, and of course, for a long period of time now, we've been talking about the fact that Nigerians have been having to go, refine fuel outside and then bring it back to the country, and that has actually cost us a lot of money. It has actually cost the country a lot. And at this point in time, where we are talking about subsidy removal due to the fact that the government are saying they can no longer continue to pay that amount of money as the subsidy, because if they continue doing that, it affects other parts of the economy. And so just recently we saw what happened with Dangote refinery, being built up from scratch, and then it's started working already. And right about now, the Nasarawa governor has come out to say that Dangote refinery would end the energy crisis in the country. Now, how does he, what does he mean by that? We'll get to find out this morning, because we'll have Dorcas, who's going to be reading through that story for us this morning to explain to us basically what he's talking about right there. But I want to also look at it from this different angle as well, which is the fact that if the government can see a man, just one man, Dangote, building up this refinery, what is stopping them from actually making sure that the other refineries that we already have in the country are up and running and are being set up in a way where it can actually refine? Because I believe that if we do that, it will save us the cost, and then there will be no need for some of those things that we keep paying, that we complain about. So it will actually save us the cost, make things easier for people, create more jobs for people here in the country, and then you have a lot of people who are right about now working in those places now. What are they doing? They're just there. They're not really doing anything much, just chopping money at the end of the day. I have people who work in NNPC. I know them. I see in Kaduna as well too. They're just there. I don't really know basically what they do right about now, but they're being paid heavily. I know one who started working within 2 years of working there. He already built a very big apartment for himself and his family. But that's to tell you that they see money there, but what exactly are they doing? So if the government can see this happen, and yes, we are all proud of the fact that Dangote has been able to build this, but what more do you feel that the government should do? I think they should take a leaf from what Dangote has done, and then try to see how they can get the other refineries working in Nigeria, because that would actually help us a whole lot. Right about now, we are complaining about the fact that fuel is being sold for as much as 800 naira in some places. Some parts of the southeast is even going for as much as 1,200 naira, just like we heard this morning in the news. So if that is the case, how is this governor of Nasarawa State coming out to say that Dangote refinery will end the energy crisis in the country? We're going to take a look at that, and then, like I said earlier, still bringing that as well to the other aspect, which is what more the government can actually do to also make sure that other refineries are up and running, so as to allow us cut costs on some of the things that we are spending right now in the country, and then allow the federal government, the new administration, to also channel that money into something else that will be more productive for the beautiful people of Nigeria.
Crisis of petrol scarcity already on Monday. We did not even know that this is actually going to happen before we had in mind to talk about this issue, actually, that everybody is carrying on their head that Dangote refinery will start working, and everybody is forgetting that this is not the refinery of federal government. This is a private owned refinery that is owned by one person, actually,
So
but
we'll
will still be paying to him. We did not even look deep into this at all. Everybody is just being happy that this is working already. And the time that this thing is being mentioned by the previous administration, everybody were clamoring that we don't want this until a refinery starts working. That is when you should be able to remove a subsidy on fuel. But still yet, I think the federal government heard this and they actually thought of it that, okay, if this one can be working, then we can work with this one, which is not totally right on their part, I must say. But let me just read through what the Nasarawa governor has said there before I give my take on this issue. The Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has felicitated with the President and Chief Executive Officer of Dangote Industries Limited, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, on the inauguration of the integrated refinery built in Lagos State. The governor also said issues relating to energy crisis will be a thing of the past as soon as the product from the refinery hits the petroleum market in the next few months. Sule stated this on Tuesday, which is last week, during the official commissioning and handover of the 2.2-kilometer local Oweto Bridge constructed by the regime of the former president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired. The governor lauded the effort of Buhari, whose tenure as president of the country ended on Monday, May 29th, said he had paid his dues while serving the country. He said it is another dream come true. Like yesterday, we saw the end of energy crisis in Nigeria by the commissioning of the Dangote refinery. He added that it is another dream come true for the people of Loko and Oweto in Nasarawa and Benue State, respectively, as well as all the southern parts of the country. We are celebrating a dream come true with the bridge. So that is what he is saying there, still relying on the Dangote refinery, and that is what everybody is looking at right about now. But I must say that currently Nigeria has 5 refineries in total. One is located in Wari, while another is located in Kaduna. We have 3 of the remaining Nigeria refineries are located in River State and Port Harcourt. And we should be aware that all these refineries are subsidiaries of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, that is the NNPC. And also this information I'm giving out right now is verified according to the Department of Petroleum Resources website. So I must let us know that. So I must say the Warri refinery, this is the first indigenous government-owned refinery in the country, commissioned in the year 1978, and it was built to process 100,000 barrels of crude oil per day as its output, but was later debottled next to process 125,000 barrels per day. So talking about the Kaduna refinery now, we have the Kaduna refinery was established in 1989 with the capacity to produce 110,000 barrels of petroleum per day. So here crude oil is refined into high quality petroleum products and manufacturing of petrochemical and packaging products to the satisfaction of her customers. So let me talk about the Niger Delta petroleum resources. The NDPR refinery is located at Ogbele in River State. Its capacity of producing over 1,000 barrels per day also sees this refinery as one of the functionary refinery in the country, Nigeria. So we have the Port Harcourt Refinery Company, PHRC. This refinery is located at Alisa Eleme near Port Harcourt. It was established in 1965 and has the capacity of producing 60,000 barrels of petroleum per day. So Indorama Eleme Petrochemical Company Limited was acquired from the NNPC in 2006 and it is located in Eleme, River State. So these can process with over 22,000 tons shelled out on a yearly basis. So normally, if we calculate all these production they will be given, if we still add everything together, I don't think it's up to what Dangote refinery will be producing. That is
will be producing
650,000 barrel per day. But still yet, I want to say that we should not still be blind with this one. It is not bad if the federal government have their own refinery working, because we should know that the price that the Dangote will be given, will it be the federal government that will give Dangote the price of him selling whatever he wants to be given to the country? No. So it still bursts down that this thing will still be controlled by a private organization. The federal government should not rely on this and let's now say that refinery is working in Nigeria and we forget about getting our own refinery working. So I am thinking that this thing should not be relied on. Nobody is disputing the fact that this man has actually done well and bringing and making this thing work for Nigeria, even at this stage that Nigeria needs this a lot to overcome all these debts we are going and what is happening in the country right now. But still yet, I believe we should not rely on it to remove subsidy in Nigeria. In as much as the federal government, the country's refinery, we have 5 that is being mentioned in the past, and what is delaying us from making it to work? And now we are relying on Dangote refinery to remove subsidy, and this new administration now announced it on Monday, May 29th, that subsidy is over, it is gone. He mentioned it clearly, and with that alone, we see what happened since Monday. Everybody is clamoring and crying over fuel now. Somebody that needs to spend like 200 naira per day for tea fare is now spending like 500 naira, 600 naira for tea fare to go to their working place. How much are these people collecting that we are now saying that subsidy is over, is gone, and is gone forever? No, for me, I'm still thinking that before these things should be removed, before subsidy can be forgotten in Nigeria, the federal government, the Nigerian refinery must be working before we allow the federal government, as citizen, we have say to go about removing subsidy on fuel. I must say it is very important because the price is very important too. But if the federal, if the country's refinery are working, despite the little, no matter what, it's still coming in. It's still coming in. But let the federal government not rely on this. It's a good one coming from Dangote. Nobody is disputing that. But the federal government should please not rely on it concerning subsidy removal.
Would actually save Nigeria about 25 to 30 billion dollars yearly. It will save Nigeria. Now, when you look at everything that was spent importing petroleum products, fertilizer, and of course petrochemicals, it drained Nigeria of about $26 billion in the year 2022 alone. So that being said, it means that, okay, yes, it's a very wonderful one. The Dangote refinery is here now, so it will save us about $30 billion yearly, which is a whole a lot of money to be spent in a different area for Nigeria. But we know the country that we live in. We know that certain things are not done the way it is supposed to be. And that being said, right about now, the fact that the governor of Nasarawa State is coming out to say that it will help to generate or end the issue of energy crisis, it is also quite good because we are hearing right about now that this project will generate up to 12,000 megawatts of electricity. So it is good for the country, but at the same time, the fact that it is still owned by someone else, that is the major problem that we are having right about now. So for one man to be able to come up and then build a refinery that would guarantee us 650,000 barrels per day, whereas the refineries that we have here in Nigeria that is supposed to be government owned, cannot actually produce that much. That tells us that there is something totally wrong with our government. There's something totally wrong with our country because how long did it take Dangote to actually, put up this structure and have this going on right about now? 650,000 barrels per day. And then when you have the one of Kaduna 150 or 110, one of Warri 150, the one in PH for 60,000, it is not up to 650. Right about now, the government should probably be looking for a way right now to build, even if it's one, that will guarantee us as much as what Dangote is doing as well. So then we can now say, okay, yes, let's work our own and Dangote's refinery. Let's see how we can push and then get to be making refining our own products for us here in Nigeria. It will be easier and save us a lot of money, save us a lot of stress, and there will be excess production of this fuel produce and of course petroleum produce actually, and it will go a long way in making sure that the issue of fuel scarcity will be a thing of the past. That is the truth. It's not as if these people do not know all of these things. They know this, but the issue is who is willing to actually, bring out the money and then say, okay, let's do this. I believe that, I don't know, I don't want to say that the people over there just feel that there is always a need to keep stressing Nigerians. There's always a need to, make Nigerians beg for things, make them suffer for things, because if you're living in a country where the people's satisfaction is your number one priority, priority as the case may be, you would do everything in your possible best to make sure that you deliver all of these things to the people. That is the way it's supposed to be. But here in Nigeria, things are not done that way. In as much as we applaud Dangote for what he has done, but it is still a business transaction that will be going on between the federal government and then this one man. So in as much as we'll be saving money, which is true, we will not be saving the total amount. It will still be a section of it going to Dangote. And right about now, does this mean that anyone who also feels that they have the money and would want to build a refinery, would they also be given the license to do that? Or is it just Dangote that would be the person that would be running the refinery? Because right about now, if he does this for a year or two and feels that this is a very good business, he would want to take it somewhere else, but probably bring it down to the southeast or south region and build another refinery over there, and then just keep on applauding him and say, yes, we have a refinery, but not knowing that it does not really belong to the government, it belongs to one man. So like I said, would they also give another person the license to also go ahead and build another refinery?
What I'm going to say is not quite different from what both Dorcas and Big Man has said this morning, because it's actually a shame that a country that is rich in oil has been importing oil for as long as I can remember. Because imagine what you are rich in. This is what you produce. This is what you have. This is your natural resources that is in your locality, but you cannot make use of it until you export it out, until you export it and then is refined and then import it as a finished product, and then you pay for the imported ones. So as they are paying you for the ones that you're exporting, once you are bringing it back, you are also paying them for refining it for you. It's actually it's not something we should be proud of. All right, now that the fuel subsidy has removed, do they have plans for reactivating the ones that we have? Now that they don't have that, they are no longer spending money on fuel subsidy, will they come out to tell us that this will be part of the projects that we should be looking forward to? Yes, Dangote has come to build a refinery for himself, because this is actually a business for him. And the most important thing for a private owned organization is to make profit, and definitely he would want to make profit. And he has an advantage that the number one, the primary resources he is using for his product is in the country. So I believe that by now the government already have an agreement on how much he will be paying for the resources given to him for this particular production. So I believe that by now they must have an agreement on this particular thing, and it will somehow regulate how much this will be sold, maybe per liter or so. It's true that we are seeing, should I call it a little light, inside the tunnel, just because this is a little light. We cannot say that this is a huge one, because it's still owned by someone, and you are not the one that will tell him how much he is to sell this particular thing. Before you tell him that he should sell this in this particular amount, definitely he will give you a rundown of the expenses that he has made, and you see the reason why he will have to sell it, and he has the right to even exaggerate the expenses. Really, are you going to investigate whether he exaggerated the expenses or he didn't? So this is like, if we are saying that we are ending energy crisis, this is a new beginning for energy crisis, if you ask me, because it's being taken away from the hands of the government into a private person, into the hands of a private person. So it's a new beginning for, maybe it's like it's like wearing a different cap, but you are the same person, because it's still the same issue. We are facing the same issue. If the government will tell us, okay, you people should bear with us, so since we've removed the fuel subsidy, let's now use the money that we are supposed to use for this fuel subsidy and divert it to reactivating the refineries that we have, we will understand. And when we see that this is actually happening, we know, okay, let's find a way to manage this at this point in time, because we believe that by the end of the year or by the beginning of next year, there will be a better option for us. Then everybody will now calm down, and then everybody will suffer this particular situation at the same time, with in view that there is something bigger that will come out of it. But are we going to is there hope? Are we just going to continue like this for God knows how long? So this is what the government should actually come out and tell us, because it's quite appalling. And the thing is that the people that will suffer this mostly are salary earners, the civil servants, because in as much as they are proposing additional funds, adding money to their salaries, how much are they adding? Because we are in Nigeria, we've seen cases of the news, the media will carry a particular news saying that the salaries of these particular people was increased. If you interview them, ask them how much was added.
1.5.
What? Oh, you're saying 1.5 is big. 500. So is 500 going to solve the issue the transport issue they are facing? Because some of these persons, their offices are far from where they live, so they will have to transport themselves. And now that fuel is being sold at 500, 600, 800 or 1,200 per liter, so the person that is driving the vehicle would definitely want to refuel, because it's not charity organization, he's running a business. So definitely you have any amount he tells you, this is what you have to pay, because you need to go where you want to go. So this one, you're no longer, and it will also affect the price of food in the market, because there is transportation of these particular things. Someone that is transporting rice from maybe a particular location where it's sold to where you are going to sell it, to where it's manufactured, to where you are going to sell it. Definitely, it's full. You will pay the driver. The driver will also add the amount of money he spent in fuel, and you are going to pay for all of these things. And you as the seller will also add the money you paid to the driver when you are selling your and a little profit that you're going to make for yourself. So you see that is the salary earners that are actually suffering this, because the business owners have a way to cover this particular thing, but the salary earners, it has been. Let our government stop giving us this notion of the more you look, the less you see, because there are so many things that is happening under the carpet that we don't know. Please, I think once in a while, let them come out from their vehicles and stroll around the streets, the ghettos, to see what Nigerians are going through. Some of their children don't even know there are people that can't afford 1 square meal a day, that before they eat, they have to beg or have to do some other things in order to feed. I think they should come down and see what is going through in the lives of these people that voted them in office. I believe if they actually see it, they will make some reasonable adjustments in the way Nigerians are living.
Okay.
And they should not depend on Dangote's refinery. they should activate the ones that we already have, because it produces more than than that of Dangote. And if they can leverage on it, I believe that will totally end this energy crisis that we've been facing in Nigeria for a long time now.
Right about now, I just want to say that in as much as I love the fact that we now have a refinery that is able to, produce as much as 650,000 barrels per day, there's still a lot that the government has to do. We have to find a way to do ours, because if you do not do that, get ours working, it leaves a lot of people thinking, maybe, just maybe, that they have, all those major players in the country have a share or whatever in that of Dangote, and that's the reason why they don't want that of the federal government to keep working, and you have Dangote's own working, and you keep making money from it as well. Because we know that, yes, in as much as Dangote is a very rich man, the richest man in Africa, at the same time, a businessman would not always invest all his money in a certain project. He would have people investing. You have investors, coming to, put money there, like myself now as an investor that I am. You invest money and then you try to see how you can make more, because you don't just put all your eggs in one basket.